Hey, go on in, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of my first impression video of I Am Jesus Christ by Space Boat Studios, right? It says the demo, but it's more like the playtest. I don't know. I looked at this map. I wonder. I wonder if this is essentially, like like a full game anyways, but just a bit rough around the edges until, that's why it's a play test, until they get all the bugs worked out and refined everything. I was speaking to my good friend, Grumpy Scamp, about this. He's the one that brought it to my attention that there's another play test going on. He did try it. He did say he did enjoy his time with the game, and he's still going to play with it a bit more and explore more. I think for him, because it's more of a puzzle type game, it's not necessarily his thing. So I take it like games like Myst or Riven, things like that nature, are something that doesn't appeal to him necessarily. And that is fine. Puzzle games are not for everyone, but there's another side to this, and this is the side I think that we both agree on, that is quite fascinating and, well, to be quite honest, quite awesome about this game, is the exploration and the learning of the historical landmarks and historical importance, I guess, even though I know it's from a religious standpoint, but there's still historical value there with that, and just the overall historical nature of the game, and historical information, I should say, not just from a religious standpoint. Here, yeah, I mean, an example is like, see, when I go to my codex, something like this, okay, where they talk about, the Roman occupation, things like that. I find to be quite cool. You can also look upon this as, okay, there's the religious side of it, where you want to, broaden your, your
Many
knowledge
people
and
have
your
attempted
faith,
to
and
write
maybe
about
it
the
just
thing.
is kind of peaceful to you to hear the scripture and things like that. And then you have the ones where it's, how there are softwares or apps, Kindle books and stuff, where you can read about the past and historical events. Well, it kind of serves as that purpose, as a learning tool to learn about the past and the land, but you're getting that kind of information staggered, like each time when you're moving around and traversing the world and coming across certain important events on the map, like how I came across that shield, and who knows what else I'll come across. I'm sure when I come to the Jordan River, things like that, I'm going to learn a piece of that, a piece of history from that region, not just the religious side of things. So you can also look at it as a way of learning, a piece of history in, almost
This is the
firsthand.
beginning of the good news
Here's
about
one
Jesus the
about
Messiah, the Son of God. Long ago, Isaiah the prophet wrote, "I will send my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way." A messenger is calling out in the desert, "Prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight paths for him."
I love that. I absolutely love that. So, you can go ahead and look these up and read it in your Kindle book or PDF, or I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of software or kind of programs they have nowadays to learn about these kind of things. And also you can watch a documentary on the History Channel, or you can do something like this, or a combination of those and this. So it's like you're experiencing, a piece of history as you're learning it, you're also literally walking in the shoes of these people. So absolutely love that. It's helps tremendously that the game is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Can I want to see if, okay, now can I look into this window? I can't really tell or get an angle. I think I can. I think that's a floor down there. Yeah, see? And there's going around the corner. So even if there are buildings that you cannot enter, like I've come across that already in the first part, you can see I couldn't open the door. They still go so far as to add rooms inside where you can look in, and it does make sense that maybe it's not completely decorated or full of decoration inside these rooms, because these were simpler times, and I'm sure there might be a little bit more things in this, like a simple table, but it's not going to be filled with things that you would see in a fantasy RPG. Yeah, see, but you can at least still go in there. All right, so let's kind of move on. It is an absolutely lovely looking game. Especially for the younger people that have an interest in learning about the past and history. What a fun way, to kind of learn it by going through the world and learning a bit of the history, coming at you, staggered, a bit at a time, instead of just being overwhelmed with text, and then of course, you can come to your codex and then check out all the text, but you're getting them in burst, which I think is a very smart idea. Whether that was the intention of the company, what did I just say? Spaceboat Studios. I'm gonna try to keep saying it a lot so I don't forget. Spaceboat Studios. Spaceboat. Studios. Whether was their intention or not, it's a nice, side effect to that, to this game. Now the puzzle-solving aspect of I Am Jesus Christ is something I do not mind. It's quite cool. I've played these type of puzzle games. So I have to find the friend. Do they give me information about that? Okay, not so much. Finished quests, revelation. It's great. No, okay, too bad. So I can't, click. That would be a nice feature, to be able to click on this, on your objective, and maybe either a window will pop up with the words of what the quest giver said, as a refresher course to the quest. And you can hear him speak. Or just put it up so we can read it. But to just repeat what the NPC said would also be a nice little touch. Is this all part of the... Yeah, look. So he could be in here.
Can I help you?
Here's his friend. Okay, great. I must warn you about the Romans. Sent me to warn you the Romans are in Nazareth, and they're targeting those thought to be followers of the Baptist.
Thank you for the warning. I will be cautious, as there are a lot of people who want him dead or believe that he is crazy.
Okay, do you know where John the Baptist is?
Yes,
okay.
I know him well. I've been following his work in the wilderness recently and was baptized by him myself. Are you seeking his location?
And of course,
You
I
can
am.
head out of town to the east near the market and continue following down the path, and then enter the wooded area which leads to the Jordan River.
East near the market.
This is where John the Baptist tends to be around, and will do baptisms in this area regularly, usually during the day.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
I will help you
Thank
get to
him and
John. Wait for
be
me
on
by
my
the
way.
cart, and I'll give you a ride part of the way.
Ah! Doesn't he betray me? See, and it's great that it has a quest marker, and just because it's not one of those games where it's like a scat. You know what? I need to lower. That's something I noticed. So I think this was a bit too loud. Let's do this just in case, you know, there's some dialogue that, you know, they're kind of imbalanced a bit. Whether, well, if I had that up to 20, the ambiance, I have a feeling it might be louder. So, alright. Let's hear how this sounds. Wow, even like that. And let me just test this. Really? What? I'm not sure. Hmm. Okay, let us do that. Which means I should do that. But this is not doing anything. I'm sorry, I'm taking too much time adjusting. Some of it.
Well, we have arrived. John should be by the river.
Okay, I shall
It's
thank
no
him.
problem. I didn't come here just for you. I brought crops to sell. Pilgrims get hungry too. Good luck.
Wow. Oh man. You know, I mean no disrespect when I bring up this comparison, but because it's just two completely different things, but looking at this, it makes me think of Hammerfell in an Elder Scrolls game. You know, like in the Alakir desert. Oh look, I like how, see the time of day and the visibility of the sun, I guess, and the brightness of the sun. You know, it shining down on the, you know, on the sand and everything. It gives it a different kind of color. You know, wow. You know, and it hits you emotionally, so you could say, to give, you know, to an emotional level, and that's a very good thing. Yeah, look at the plant life and everything is fantastic. They move with the wind. Okay, before we head down over there, we have, you know, people heading over there to the river, heading down to the river to get baptized.
And streams in the desert. The burning sand will become a pool, and the thirsty ground springs of water.
Okay, now that I heard that, all right.
Waters will break out in the wilderness, and streams in the desert. The burning sand will become a pool, and the thirsty ground springs of water.
I like that. And, you know, it's really great, you know, seeing this little artwork here off to the side.
Maybe
really,
I need
really
to sit in the shade for
nice
a while.
touch. So I do like that the NPCs commentate a little bit, just to kind of give them that illusion of, you know, life. You know, I'm going to sit under the shade for a while. You know, they don't have to have, you know, these really complex kind of AI to them. Okay, well, you know, when ducking, it could be smoother. You know, like, instead of just, it's like a jump, you know, as if I close my eyes for a brief moment and I'm down. The transition from standing upright to crouching can be much smoother than this. Okay, so that's another little, I guess, my 2 cents on that. just want to see if I could make the crouching a toggle. Okay, there's no option for that. I have to hold it down. Same thing with the running, I have to hold it down. So those would be two cool new options, is to add a toggle. So you just push it once and then you're running. So I just tap shift instead of having to hold it down, and I'm running until I stop running. And same thing with the crouching, make the transition smoother and have it be a toggle so I don't have to keep holding down the control. You know, that would be kind of, you know, a nice little quality of life change. So I can just, you know, tap the control and I'm crouched until I start running or push it again. Wow, this is...
There is a stillness in the city today, as if something holy draws near.
The Roman occupation brings tension to our town.
See, and they commentate on, you know, what's going on, the current events, you know, with the, you know, the Roman Empire and everything, and I love that. The Jordan River, look at it. You know, not the most realistic looking water, but it's okay. You know, maybe, hopefully, you know, you guys can refine it a bit, make it look more like, you know, like a real water, like something that you would see in Skyrim, or I'll even say like ESO. You know, there's a mod for Skyrim which I use called Real Waters 2. So if you guys kind of want to look at that to see what I'm talking about, it you know, with the Real Waters 2 mod, and this is for Skyrim, it not only makes the water look a lot more realistic. I do love the colors. I love how it transitions to a you know, a more aqua kind of blue from like a deep blue back over there, but it also regulates the flow of water, so it has realistic, you know, flowing water the way it would, you know, at different speeds and the currents and everything, instead of just one static movement of the water. But like I said, it looks okay. But I think that the main thing too is the if the water flowed realistically, then that also, you know, will help it look better. Okay.
His teachings about the coming of the Messiah have me very excited.
Go.
The beginning of the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. John the Baptist appeared in the wilderness, preaching a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sins. John wore clothing made of camel's hair with a leather belt around his waist, and he ate locusts and wild honey.
Yep.
The whole Judean countryside and all the people of Jerusalem went out to him. Confessing their sins, they were baptized by him in the Jordan River. And this was his message: I baptize you with water for repentance. But after me comes one who is more powerful than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to carry. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire.
Here we go. Genesis 1 passage 31, paragraph 31. Is that how it is? John the okay, experience enlightenment, pass through the gate, hint, check the Genesis quote to decode it. Oh, I really like that. So this is a representation of heaven and the gate. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
This is the beginning of the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. Long ago, Isaiah the prophet wrote, "I will send my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way." A messenger is calling out in the desert, "Prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight paths for him."
God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light and saw that it was good. God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Another, again, I know I'm bringing up all these different kind of movies and don't have any kind of religious ties, but in a way it does have like a somewhat same like symbolism in a way, whether it was intended or not. The movie, the Ridley Scott film, Legend, starring Tim Curry, who played Darkness, right? And he wants to completely bring darkness to the world 24/7, like forever, by killing the last unicorn. There was evening and there was morning the first day. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the middle of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." So like land, God made the expanse and divided the waters which are under the expanse from the waters. See, the text is really nice and big. I love that. Which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse, and it was so. God called the expanse sky. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, separating the sky from the land. There was evening, and there was morning the second day. God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together to one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of waters he called seas. God saw that it was good. God said, "Let the earth yield grass, herbs yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit after their kind, and their seed in it on the earth." And it was so. Okay, the earth yielded grass, herbs yielding seed after their kind, and trees bearing fruit with no seed in it after their kind. God saw that it was good. There was evening and there was morning the third day. God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of sky to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the expanse of sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He also made the stars, and God set them in the expanse of sky to give light to the earth. The rule over the day and over the night and to divide the light from the darkness. God saw that it was good. There was evening and there was morning the fourth day. God said, "Let the waters abound with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth in the open expanse of skies." God created the large sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarmed after their kind, and every winged bird after its kind. God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply." Yeah, that's right. "And fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." There was evening and there was morning, fifth day. Let the earth produce living creatures after their kind, livestock, creeping things, animals of the earth. See, that's really cool. God made the animals of the earth after their kind, and the livestock, and everything that creeps on the ground after its kind. God said it was good. Let's make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the livestock, and all over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. God created man in his own image. In God's image he created him, male and female he created them. God blessed them. God said to them, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over that. Yep, just repeating above that. Behold, I have given you every herb yielding seed, which is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which bears fruit yielding seed. It will be your food. To every animal of the earth, and to every bird of the sky, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. There was evening and there was morning, the 6th day. Okay. Day 4. Okay, hold on. Let me just refer back to this, even though I read it all, but I still like to. Okay, the light. I divided the day from the night. Two great lights. The greater light to rule the day. The night. That was good. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Okay, okay. I see how this is. Oh, okay, okay. Hold on, hold on. Okay, hold on. All right, I'll get this. First day, right. Let there be light. Day 1. See how this is. Okay. The second one, second day. Sky, right. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, land and sea. Oh, land and vegetation, or let the dry land appear, and it was so. Dry land. Grass. Fruit. Herbs. Yeah, that's right. Day and night. Oh, whoa. Wait. It's a little hard to target this. Oh, I messed this up, I think. Oh, boy. You know, what would be cool is if you could make it so when you, have it so you can click on this thing, or when you approach it, how can I explain this? It's no longer, it's still first person, but it goes into puzzle mode, so you'll be, this will be centered, and you know, you won't be able to move around until you exit out of it. You know, it will just be this puzzle, like this view, so I would be elevated higher, so it will, you know, I can get the whole of it. And then when I move the mouse, I can just, you know, that way it's just easier. I don't have to, you know, I'll be at the epicenter right here. You know, when I'm looking straight like that, I'll be at the epicenter of this disc. Okay, so I think that would be good. Okay, land and vegetation, good. And 4 day and night. Yeah, see, it's sun, moon, and stars. Is that what it was? Yeah, the stars. Yeah, okay. 4 and then 5. Large sea creatures. A kind of every winged bird. Sea creatures. This is 5. That land animals and humans. Yeah, that's right. And sixth day, yeah, would be the humans. All right. Land animals, yeah. 7th day. Okay, great. Faith is required to use abilities like, for example, Divine Vision. Okay, I remember learning about that. Remember not to let it be lost completely. Hold to pray. Okay. That's very, very cool. Let me save it. I guess I can call it tutorial, or I'll just call it current. Jordan.
And a voice came
I'll
from
end it
heaven.
soon.
You are my son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, there's no quick save, so I'm just going to save it. And there we go. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and this is really cool so far. So, okay, I'll see you guys next time then.